coming up on this episode of the Spiro podcast.
If you walk into a house and you realize it's not ready, you should not be the person telling the homeowner that the house is not ready first. Craig said this, and it's very strategic. Are you ready? We ask if they are ready.
Welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. With your hosts, Todd Kivimacki and Craig Magrum.
Hi, and welcome to the Spiro podcast, managing your real estate photography and videography business. Spiro is a software platform designed to help you manage and grow your day-to-day real estate visual marketing business. I'm your host, Craig Magrum. Welcome to the podcast. We always have a good time and just really appreciate hearing back from all of you that are listening and watching. Love the comments, love the feedback, but just glad to have you. Along with us, of course, our co-host and Spiro founder and owner, Todd Kivimacki. Welcome back to another week, Todd.
Oh, it's great to be back, Craig. Another Friday. Our team at Wow Video Tours, our real estate media company, put in a big week. So it was a 4-day week. And 4-day weeks are always just, you think, oh, it's a short week. No, we're going to try to cram everything of 5 days into 4.
Right.
And so we had some fun ones this week. Probably some situations we'll talk about in future podcasts of how we had a gap, we had a situation and what we did for it and how we overcame and how we took care of the clients and the team and so on and so forth. But it has been, regardless, it has been it's been a great week. So invigorated by the support of the team.
Yeah. And I would say the floodgates have opened on the number of jobs, at least here in my local market. All of a sudden, it's just like I got slammed, which I'm thankful for, but it's definitely the summer market now. So, all right. Well, last week, before we dive into the topic, I'm just going to give a quick summary. So last week we talked about a photographer's workflow, and we kind of talked about the day before getting ready for that next day's shoot and just the workflow that we go through, how it impacts your business. We talked a little bit about gear and why we
talked about some gear. That was something new, huh?
Right. Because we've always talked about this podcast being more about the business side of what we do in real estate media, because there's so much other, great information out there, other YouTube channels, other, groups that talk about the creative side and gear and things like that. But we decided to go ahead and talk a little bit about gear because that is part of our business, right? And depending on what your goals are and your specific style and things like that, you might have different gear needs. So we just shared ours and why we use what we do. But we kind of got to the end of the podcast and realized, hey, there's more to talk about in terms of a photographer's workflow and how that relates to our business. So this is going to be part 2 of that conversation. And we got some great comments. Somebody actually said, great to hear about the technical side about the kit that we're using. That was from JR7055. Yeah. And,
nice.
Todd, I have to throw this in here.
Oh, please do. I can't wait for this.
So you know how I nerded out on my trip to Hamvention?
The Mecca.
Yes, the Mecca of ham radio. And I said that it was around 30,000 people on average that come to that. We got the final numbers. Yes, they tallied the numbers of people that come. It was actually about 35,000 people that were at Hamvention in Xenia, Ohio, Greene County. Little, just county seat of Greene County. A lot of people haven't heard of Xenia, but it's still known as Dayton Hamvention. Anyway, JR, in addition to saying he loved hearing about the technical side of what we're using, said that he actually enjoyed hearing about my trip. So, nerds unite. Yes.
Did you see JR with the other 35,000 people?
If I did, I don't know. But he shared his dad is a ham radio operator in Canada.
Cool.
And said, I'm going to tell my dad about Hamvention. JR, my guess is your dad, if he's been a ham for any amount of time, probably already knows about Hamvention. If you're a ham, you know about that event. But so kudos to JR for uniting with me on the nerdy part of the podcast.
Yeah, cool stuff. Thanks. Yeah, and thanks for the comment, JR. And tell your dad to send a signal this way, and we'll try to pick it up.
Actually,
I don't know if that's a technical term or not.
my antenna's down right now. I actually,
Oh,
we had a bad storm blow through and it broke part of my mast. So I'm working on, yeah. And anyway, that's enough of that. We don't, we don't want to waste any more time on the podcast on ham radio. Okay. So just appreciate the comments. Okay, let's shift gears. We got one more thing to talk about before we dive back into the topic this week. Creo. Todd, tell us a little bit about Creo.
Yeah, so Creo is a photo editing team that we had started at WOW. It's in Kosovo. It is its own independent company. So just to be fully transparent, I own a minority portion of it. The individuals that work it and run it every day own the majority of it. We use that company at WOW. Video Tour is our company. They do a fabulous job for us. I bring it up, one, because it is a service that if you're looking for an editor, CreoLLC.net, you can find them at. But in the same sense, I see this question asked all the time. And it's something that we at our real estate media company take for granted, that we have just always operated like this. Like last week we talked about gear, and we just assume that everyone has the gear figured out and they try new gear when it comes out, but like we do this at a very high level. And part of being successful at that is our editing team. And being able to send our photos to a team that's integrated into Spiro, that Spiro automatically assigns the jobs to them. They pick them up, they drop them back in Dropbox. Spiro automatically takes them from Dropbox to the property website. So that whole pipeline, I just assume everybody has it. If you're not functioning with an automated pipeline and a set of dedicated editors that know what you want and meet your needs, that might be a gap in your business with systems that you need to figure out, because there's no way we could do the number of jobs that we do, 12 to maybe 15,000 this year, and be successful in expediting 60, 70, 80 jobs a day. And it's just it's an important piece. So if you haven't found that piece, by all means, you don't have to use Creo. It's a solution that we've engineered, that they do a fabulous job at a very high level for us, and they have capacity to help more. They've just brought on more editors, trained new individuals. So reach out to them. You'll talk to Lobden or Shend over there, some of the two of the owners. And if you have that gap in your business, it might be a good note to write down. Maybe you don't do it now because you're busy, but send them a note, see if you can get time on their schedule, or if you can get time on your schedule with them, and automate that process. Because if it's a goal of yours that you want to grow, you need to fill that gap.
Absolutely. Let me just share a personal anecdote on the importance of an editing team like this, Creo or otherwise. We've talked about in the past, when I was on my own doing real estate media, Spiro was kind of my back end engine. You guys did all my editing and had that system in place, and it allowed me, from an independent photographer who was at the time doing my own editing. How stupid it was! I was so naive and young, Todd, in the business.
It's a progressions of business, right?
Yeah, it is. So yeah, I was shooting, I was selling, I was editing. Really, was only doing photos only, because I could not turn video around that fast. But to try and turn something around in basically 24 hours, say a business day, by 5 p.m. I would have to work into the night. I mean, you know this story. You lived it yourself. And I couldn't scale. I had no capacity because my time was all taken up. But the second I had an outside editing team start doing that for me, yes, I might have lost some creative control, but man, it allowed me to scale from, say, doing 2 shoots a day to up to 6 to 7 a day. Yeah. I mean, it's a no-brainer. You've got to find a great editing team and partnership that can help you scale your business. So yeah, for sure, check it out, CreoLLC.net.
And I can't quite remember the numbers, Craig, but you coming in and allowing WOW to be that engine for you, the photo, expediting, things like that. I can't remember what the numbers were pre and post, but the number of jobs that it allowed you to grow into was just astronomical in order to grow your business, to give that up, to focus on growth.
Right. Well, like I said, I was able to shoot and edit like I was a newbie. I was, the max I could do was 2 shoots in a day, and still get it edited and turned around and still have time to make some phone calls and answer emails, things like that. So going from 2 to 6 to 7 a day was mammoth. You know, my first half a year when I first started my business, I think I did 35 shoots, but I was just getting going. It takes time. You can't just expect to start shooting full time when you first start your real estate media business. And I've seen that question come in lately on our YouTube channel and a couple other avenues. People asking, you know, how can I get up and running faster and get realtors to respond to me faster? I'm going to be honest, guys, it's harder now than it was even just a few years ago, because this space has grown. The number of people doing real estate media, there's more people and companies out there doing it. So realtors have more choices. So it's not quite as easy as it initially was, at least from my observation, Todd.
Agreed. I would agree. Yeah.
So you've got to kind of build into, if you're just starting your business, you've got to build into your thought process that, hey, this is going to take commitment and it's going to take some time and perseverance. You're going to start slow. That's okay. Start at part-time. That's what I had to do, even as I started part-time, until I got to the point where I knew I had to devote my entire workday to growing the business. You're going to have some savings probably, you know, in reserve to live off as you try and grow that business. It's not easy. We don't want you to ever think it's super easy, but there are tools and processes you can implement to make it easier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. You know, you hit two of some of my favorite sayings. Number one is, what you focus on will expand. So if you focus your time on, let's just take 2 examples. One, if you're doing your photo editing or you're managing some processes you shouldn't with photo editing, then you'll become a better photo editor and you'll be more efficient at editing, but that is not going to produce your business growing. So if you offload photo editing, and if you focus on client acquisition, giving fantastic customer service, your business will grow. So what you focus on will expand. I love that saying. And then also the second one is, if it was easy, everyone would do it. Yeah. If it was easy to grab your camera, get a gimbal, go out. I mean, that's the fun part, buying the gear, right? That's the fun part. And then you're like, oh crap, what do I do with it? You know, we talked to an individual who was just getting going. Nick did yesterday about Spiro, and he was just getting going. He's like, man, I just bought all the gear. I'm overstretched. And it's like, well, if the gear sits, you know, you might not be able to do Matterport or iGuide or 360s right away. Like, start with a base and focus on what's going to grow your business. So yeah, if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yep.
You know, along with that, Craig, another thing, if you have a gap, you spoke about video editing, and this wasn't even something that we had when you came in. We did your video editing. We did video editing because we just had editors that did video editing. But we have, since then, we've built the Merge Fleet. Yeah. And the Merge Fleet is our logic-based video editor.
It is so cool.
You know, we do 8, 9, 10,000 videos through it a year. We sell a ton of video. About 80% of our jobs have video. So our photo jobs have video. And if you're like, wow, how do you sell it that much? Well, one, we focus on it. Again, going back to what you focus on will expand.
Well, look at our business name.
Yeah. Wow. Video Tours. Yeah. I named it Video Tours. I was maybe a little short-sighted there, but it works. And we focus on it. And it really does help your agents more. And we couldn't sell some of our brokerage deals because if we didn't have video. But the Merge Fleet is our logic-based video editing engine that will edit your video in 20 minutes. You'll shoot it in a particular way. You'll upload it and you'll have it done in 20 minutes. And we have free training on this. If you are in Spiro, click on the Merge Fleet. There's a training button there. You can sign up for the free training. We show you how to do it. Our head of training, Ryan Lawrence, and myself, we did a training video. So if you want to increase your average order value, if you want to find some systems and some processes, Merge Fleet might be for you. And the beautiful thing is it's built right in the Spiro. Yeah.
And to kind of stress where you can find that training, because we've had that question come up a couple of times. Hey, where can I find the training to how to do the Merge Fleet video? Because you do have to shoot it a specific way.
Correct.
There's some artistry still involved in that, but there is a process on using the merge fleet. Again, to find that training, you do need to sign up for a free Spiro account. So just go to spiro.media, and on the left side nav, there is a link for merge fleet. Click on that, and then at the top of the page, you'll see a button for the merge fleet training where you can sign up. We don't put that out there publicly, just because that is our process. But we'd love to share that with you through your Spiro account.
Yeah, and you don't need to use Spiro to process jobs to use the merge fleet. So if you have another system, or if you have a process that's working for you right now, like Craig said, it's free to sign up, spiro.media. Sign up for a free account. It'll instantly be created. Then just click merge fleet, and that is right there. Also, the thing is you can submit test jobs for free. So while you're practicing, if you just want to see, hey, what does this look like? Just upload the clip, submit it, and you'll see what it does. Just click the test merge. It will not charge you. You don't even have to enter a credit card in Spiro when you sign up. So we're completely like, hey, we feel really confident about our system and our process and our workflows, and we want you to see it. So it's a no obligation attempt. Maybe you owe it to your business to see if you can increase your average order value and streamline your processes with video for this year or next.
Good deal. Alrighty. Well, let's get
to part 2.
Yeah, absolutely. So a photographer's workflow and how it impacts your business. So Todd, last week we left off kind of the night before, using Spiro's photographer portal, what our workflow is. We talked about some of the gear. So let's dive into then the actual appointment day and that workflow process, and kind of work through that and what it looks like and how it affects, again, our business.
Yeah, this will be a fun one because, again, this is 20 years of streamlining this process. So Craig, let's pretend you have a day of shoots. Maybe you've done this for today already. And you do this every day, but you're good to go with your gear. That was part 1. Part 2 is it's the morning of.
Yep.
You know all your gear, batteries are charged. You know what you need to take. Yep. So it's the morning of the appointment. You're just getting up and around. You don't need to leave out the door yet.
Right.
You're using a app. It's a PWA, but it's a website that we call the photographer portal. What is your workflow in that photographer portal, Craig?
Right. So I'm going to review the day one more time just to make sure that I know what's coming up, what to expect at each listing, what I need to shoot, et cetera, et cetera. But then after that second review, just to make sure I've got everything I need, there is a begin day button that I press, I click to start the day. And what that does is it allows Spiro to then send out an automated message to the first client of the day, informing them what time that I will be at their listing to start their appointment.
Awesome. And so that would be any subscriber. So this could be a homeowner too. This could be a property manager. So this is just giving everybody one more final warning to say, hey, you're the next up. This is the time we'll be there. Make sure the house is 100% ready.
Yep.
That verbiage is, we have stock verbiage that we put in, of course, to the text message, but you can change anything you want in those text messages.
Right.
So let me ask you a question, Craig. So you said you check your schedule one more time. What if you have had a cancellation or reschedule come in overnight? So from the time you went to bed to the time you woke up, say you had something cancel or reschedule, but you had an appointment be removed off your day. How are you aware of that?
I believe there's actually 2 methods. One, I get a Slack notification that there's been an update to the day or a cancellation, but I think it comes through email as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So you will get those notifications, and just again, one point where we were proactive in communicating. If you go to bed thinking, hey, I've got a huge day, I've got 6 tomorrow, and 2 cancel, you're going to adjust your day a little bit. You need to know that. So we bump you with a proactive, you'll get the Slack notification. You'll see it in your inbox. But understanding that your day is completely different when there's a cancel or a reschedule.
Yeah, absolutely. If I've got a gap, because I fill the dual role of business development specialist and photographer, if I've got a gap, I don't want to just sit there in my car waiting for the next appointment. So I might make a couple of phone calls or check emails, respond to emails that come in. If I'm close to a brokerage office, I know I haven't stopped in for a while. And I actually did this earlier this week. I had a gap. I stop in and say hi. I had a couple of bags of candy and, took in some WoW video pamphlets. And it was funny, Todd, the one brokerage I walked in, Sarah, who is at the front desk, she walks in, she goes, "You've got to stop bringing us chocolate." I'm like, "It's what I do, Sarah." And she laughed and she's like, "No, don't stop. Here, give it here." So yeah, make use of that time, make use of that downtime.
Now, Craig, that's so smart. And that's the way businesses grow. I just want to reiterate something. So Craig said, since I'm also a business development manager, that's what we call our client sales relations at WOW. And Craig also does some of the photography and the media for the properties. He said, I'm also that. So I want to remind you, if you're listening to this podcast, you are that. So if you're the owner and you're photographing, you are your business development specialist. Mm-hmm. Okay. So anytime you see that gap, it should be like, oh, stinks that dropped off my day. But look at the opportunity that I now have with this 2 hours in the middle of my day.
Speaking of that, let me tell you the rest of the story. It just popped into my head of making use of that time. So this brokerage that I walked into, not only did I talk to Sarah, the front desk person, who's also a realtor, but their broker and owner was further into the room training 2 new realtors that they just brought on. And so I said hi to him real quick, and he's like, "Hey, come over here," and introduces me to his 2 new realtors. Mm-hmm. And proceeds to sell us to his new realtors and said, "Hey, this is one of our preferred vendors. They do a great job." He did the selling for me. So like these new agents, they're going to know to call WOW when they get their first listing. And the broker did the job for me. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just, y'all, it works. It really does. We talk about gear one time on the podcast last week. We talk about the business aspect all the other time. Why? Because if you want to grow a business, that's a goal of ours. When I started this 20 years ago, I wanted to grow a large business. I wanted to do as many shoots as possible. That's our goal. That's what we focus on. When you focus on it, it will expand. Right. Now, it's not always easy. So Craig could have said, "Oh, great, I've got 2 hours downtime. I'm going to be in this little town, 2 towns over. I love this little place to go and eat." Could have easily gone and eaten out. Could have just kicked back, relaxed. It's nice right now in Ohio. Could have gone to a park. Could have gone back home and tried to sleep. It's going to take just hard work to do this. You're going to have to pick yourself up when you're like, "Oh, I got a break here. Let me let me not take advantage of it. Sorry, let me not take advantage of it." And, I hate to use the word, but let me get a little lazy with it. Right. And I get lazy sometimes too. So I can do this too, but it just takes that mental toughness of pushing through. Like, you know what? I've got an opportunity today and I'm going to go and I'm going to make sure I do something with it.
Yeah. The way I'm wired is during spring and summer, when I'm slammed with shoots, I don't have as much time to do the business development side of things. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, I kind of lose contact and lose that connection point with a lot of the agents that I work with and work for. And I don't like the feeling of not being in regular contact or regular cadence of communication, where it might look like to the realtor that I'm just assuming I have their business and I take it for granted. I don't ever want them to have that perception that I just take their business for granted. I want to check in on a regular basis. That's hard to do during busy season if you're also doing your shooting. So yeah, if I have some downtime, I'm going to, especially during busy season, I'm going to try and make sure I'm reaching out to somebody just to check in, let them know, "Hey, I'm still thinking about you. We want to make sure we take good care of you. Thank you for the opportunity to shoot this listing," et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah. And you do that enough, you build those relationships. Right. It's the Wednesday that you walk in on a whim, that the broker's sitting there. Yeah. And then the broker sells your business to brand new agents.
Yeah.
that are coming to his company. So it's incredible, but it takes hard work. I mean, you don't know all the dedication, the hard work that Craig goes through to do this, and the systems and the processes that we have. It can be done. It's not impossible. It's just take the time and just go care about people.
Yeah. Be consistent. Just be present and be consistent.
Awesome. Great advice, Craig. Love it. Okay. So you've clicked that begin day button. Any subscriber on the order will get a text message and they know that you're going to be there in an hour, let's say. So what happens now?
I leave for the appointment.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got my gear loaded up in my car. I head towards that first appointment. And
let me ask you, do you typically leave to be on time?
No, I leave to be early.
Okay.
My dad taught me if I'm on time, I'm late. Now, full disclosure, my last appointment of the day yesterday, I was 10 minutes late to. And that's not like me. But I knew I was going to be late because the shoot that I was at, my second to last shoot, the sellers were not ready. Even though the realtor had the information, some things came up for the sellers that pushed back their ability to get ready, and that's going to happen. So it made that appointment go longer. When I realized that was going to happen, that I was going to be late to my next one, I shot a message off immediately to my next realtor and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry. This listing wasn't ready. I'm going to be about 10 minutes late." And realtors understand things happen for the most part. She wrote back, "Hey, don't even worry about it. Get here when you can get here. We're fine." So being proactive in communication when those situations arrives is important, and they appreciate that communication. But I try to arrive actually about 15 minutes early. And even if you can sometimes start early, I like to do that if I can, if they're ready. And there's the key. If they're ready and the seller says it's okay, you want to respect the appointment time that you had set. But if they're ready, that builds in buffer for me in case something happens later in the day.
Yeah, really good advice. And Craig is strategic with that 15 minutes. We've realized 15 is the max of what you want to arrive early.
Right.
You get there 20, 25, 30 minutes early, you're now catching them off guard as to where about 15 minutes till it's not absurd that you've arrived. It's like, oh, wow, he's prompt, he's on time. And then it's more or less like, hey, I'm just here. And if you can tell as the photographer walking up, you can tell if they need 15 more minutes. If they do, by all means, hey, no problem. I just want to make sure that I'm here, was ready. If I could assist you with anything, I'm happy to. And most of the time you can start, but that 15 minutes is strategic. Don't get there. If you're going to arrive 30 minutes early, you need to call.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Get the realtor's permission. And that they're always going to check with their seller to make sure it's okay. And I always couch it in terms of if they can't, no pressure for me to start early. It just happens that my day is running early and I can start earlier if you'd like me to.
Yeah,
and sometimes they're like, yeah, no problem. That works even better. So just ask them.
Never hurts to ask. Yeah, that's great. Okay, so you've left your house. You arrived, early. You're there promptly. What do you do next? So you're in your car. What happens next?
Yeah. So when I arrive, I'm getting my gear ready. I grab an extra battery or two and throw it in my pocket. There's nothing worse than having a battery die in the middle of your shoot, and then you have to go back out to the car to get another battery. So just carry an extra battery on you. It just goes better that way. But then I'm using that photographer app again. I'm checking into my job. And what that does is then it sends a notification to the next appointment, the next realtor, to let them know when I'm going to arrive for their listing appointment.
Oh, cool.
Or shoot appointment, yeah. I believe it also updates the tracking page, Todd.
It does. So there is a tracking page, like think your Domino's Pizza tracking. So when you check into your first job, it will show on that page that you have arrived. So if anyone, say the agent can't be there and they go to that tracking page, they see the update that you're there. And then also the cool thing is inside the admin portal, in the on-site tracking page. That's like our air traffic control page. If you have a team looking at that, then they can see that you have checked in. So the other cool thing is if you're a photographer, you're shooting and you say you have a team in the field shooting as well, that's an easy place for you to go see, hey, what's my team doing? Without ever having to ask your team. You can see if they're on time, if they've checked in, what appointment they're at. So before even talking to them.
Right.
Well, cool. So you've checked in. Appointment number 2 is notified when you're going to be there. So they're making their last final prep. You've got extra battery in your pocket and you're walking up. Take us through. So you're knocking on the door. What's your approach at welcoming, saying hello? How do you do it? What's your stick?
Yeah.
There?
So, every situation, every appointments can be a little bit different. The sellers might be there. They might not be there. You might have lockbox access. It might be vacant. It might be occupied. I always knock regardless of what the information on my appointment says of whether it's vacant or occupied, because there's situations where it might be vacant, but the sellers might be there doing last minute cleaning. Yeah. So there actually is somebody there. So I always make sure I knock, ring the doorbell, whatever. And assuming that someone's there, the seller's there, then introduce myself. Hey, I'm Craig from Wow Video Tours, here for your realtor, insert your realtor's name here to do your photos and video walkthrough today. And, oh, fantastic. Yeah, if there's anything you need me to move, let me know. Sellers are incredibly accommodating for the most part because they want their photos to look good. And so they're trusting you as the professional to tell them what needs to be done. I mean, 99.5% of the time, that's what I hear is tell me what you need me to do. I'll let you know, no worries. Sometimes they go a little overboard and they're worried if a plant is not quite in the right. No. Don't worry about that. You're there to provide just some reassurance, let them know everything's good. Your demeanor just has to stay really calm because they're stressed out. So we have the opportunity to bring in a calming presence. We know what we're there for. We're going to make this easy for you. Anyway, so what I do is I walk them through the process, set expectations.
Yes.
Hey, the appointment's going to take about this long. Here's the services I'm going to be providing for you today. I'm going to start with your photos. We're going to shoot in a particular order, assuming that everything's ready. I'm going to start on your main floor, then I'll shoot your second floor, and then the basement, and then I'll switch over to video. We'll do video. I'll need you in a different part of the house or a different floor while I'm doing that, so I'm not chasing you around. I always make it about them. I want them to be comfortable. And they're like, oh, no, you just tell me where you need me. Again, they're usually very accommodating. Although you'll have that 1 or 2 people that want to follow you around. I do try to very diplomatically encourage them not to do that because I want to be able to concentrate on providing the best media I can. If I need anything, I will stop what I'm doing. I'll ask you. And, if there's somewhere comfortable in the house for you to relax, that would be ideal. They're not always sometimes they're still going to follow you around. Yeah,
they are.
It is what it is.
You will get that, and you're in their house. You can't really tell them. You can try to tell them what to do. I would typically phrase it as like, hey, I'm going to start in the main level. And then while I'm doing that, I'll have you go upstairs or downstairs while I'm on the main level, unless you'd like to be in the photos. And I would strategically say that because nobody ever wanted to be, no, I'll go downstairs. I don't want to be in your way. So
every once in a while you'll get a character. Yeah. They pose for you. Those are the fun people though.
Yeah. So, but I love what you say as well as wherever you're comfortable and, just make sure that you don't have to be Craig or I when you go in. You'll figure out what works for you. The biggest thing is don't be afraid to take control. Right. Set expectations. I learned that over 20 years ago when I was second shooting weddings for a wedding photographer that had done weddings for 20 years. He literally, some of the things I was like, I could not believe that he was saying it, or like he would cut in line to go eat dinner. Like the bride and groom and the party would go. He would be right behind the parents and the grandparents. He'd cut in line. He'd say, excuse me. And he would step in. I'm just following him. I'm a kid at this point. I have no clue. But I realized he did that because he had to quickly eat because the first cake cutting and the first dance is coming up. So if he waits to eat last, he's in line or trying to eat dinner while he's supposed to be working.
Right.
So I picked up on that very quick, like, hey, just take charge. Mm-hmm. If you don't know what to do, go do what Craig or I do. Fake it till you make it. Yeah, people will believe you. Just be confident in it.
Yes. I have another radio story about being confident in people believing you, but we won't go there. Anyway, so that's basically what I do when I approach the house and check in with the seller.
Okay, so you have that. So you go through your shooting routine.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, just a couple random questions. This is, only real estate photographers have these questions. So what if you have to go to the bathroom?
I'm training a new person on our team here in my local market right now.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, okay, piece of advice, completely unrelated to anything we've been talking about today. I said, carry extra TP with you. And she said, I'm sorry, what? I said, you might be in a house.
Yeah.
There's certain things we need to do during the day. And that vacant house might not have any TP. Carry an extra roll of TP in with you. Mm-hmm. So, what was the question? That's what popped into mind. Was it that?
Okay, so let me make it two parts. So if the house is occupied and say the owner or the agent is there and you have to use the bathroom, do you hold it? Do you shake a leg?
Nope.
Do you ask? What do you do?
Ask permission. Nobody has ever said no. I did have one person say leave a quarter on the toilet, but they were fun. No, I always ask permission. Hey, it was a long drive. Do you mind if I use your restroom? No, go ahead. It's right here. Yeah. Don't try and hold it.
I had this dumb belief for quite a few years when I was shooting that like it was rude to ask to use their bathroom. And I think I was in the house with an agent, like, hey, do you mind if I use your bathroom real quick? And like, I didn't know, just like what Craig said, oh, no problem, it's right here. Mm-hmm. I was like, Todd, like all the pain I'd gone through and trying to hold it for an appointment, just not to ask. If you have to use the bathroom, y'all, just ask politely to use the bathroom.
We're human beings. We all get it. We understand.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to say no.
Okay, so what if it's vacant, Craig? What's your bathroom routine if the house is vacant? This feels like it should be a T-shirt.
That'd be a weird T-shirt.
Well,
I use the bathroom.
Okay.
And I check for TP first. If there's none there, I go out to my car and grab my roll.
Okay. Now
this is weird, Todd.
This is
it's real life.
This is maybe only a pain point in mine, but okay, if the house is vacant and it looks like no one's been in there, you check for toilet paper. What else do you check for in the bathroom?
Is the water running? Is there water in the tank? Yes.
Yes.
I made that mistake once.
So did I. Yes. So did I.
Yeah.
And
I had no idea that the episode was going this way, Todd.
Yeah, we might as well. It's going down the toilet. I should have left that for you, Craig.
It's a really crappy subject. Okay, we got to stop.
Okay.
How's this impact our business?
So when you're in a house, it's vacant, and it looks like no one's been there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
You go in, toilet paper, check. Okay, I'm good with toilet paper.
Mm-hmm.
Check to see if the water's on. So I used to only open the tank and look, or like if you open the toilet seat and you see water in there, you're like, I'm good. Well, no, you're not actually good because the tank can hold water.
Yeah.
So, but if you use the strategy that I'm going to flush the toilet to see if there is water, you could also fail as well, because I did. So I was in a house one time and the house was actually furnished. I didn't realize they were in Florida. It wasn't even winter anymore in Ohio. I flushed the toilet, flushes. I'm like, I'm good to go. I used the bathroom. And I realized that I flushed the last gallon and a half or whatever out of the toilet. So I frantically go to the sink and I turn on, a little bit spits out and then nothing. I'm like, oh, house is winterized. I'm like, darn it, Todd. So I hate to even admit this, but you all can laugh at me. So I'm in a panic now because I'm like, I got to flush because I can't leave. And it was just number one, but like, I don't want to leave number one in the toilet because these people might not be back for months.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't know what to do. I get the idea that I'm going to check the other toilet. So I check the other toilet and there's water in the tank. I remember I have a water bottle in my car.
Oh, no.
So,
you didn't.
Yeah, I did. I filled up the water bottle from the tank in toilet number 2 and took it to toilet number 1. Back, going back and forth, hand underneath, because it's hand underneath the, this is like 20-year-old Todd. Like, this is what I don't think to just go to the store and get a gallon of water. So anyways, I transfer tank water from tank 2 to tank 1, and then I flush the toilet.
How long did that take with that water bottle?
Oh, far too long. Yeah, and not to mention that I'm siphoning water out of the tank of the toilet, which I get it's clean water, but it's Anyways, after that, I learned to I keep 2 1-gallon jugs of water in my car.
I never thought about that. It's a good idea.
So, anyways,
It's
the toilet problems of a real estate photographer.
Let's tie this back to how that impacts your business. So, what expense account does that gallon of water come out of?
I put that in the cost of goods. So
cost of goods, okay. Yeah. Cost of goods sold. Oh my gosh.
Okay. So that is okay. Another question. This is fun. Let's just do. We might have to do a part. We might be up to part 7 by the time we go up. Yeah. Holy cow. Okay. Vacant house.
Yep.
Little flexibility. That's where it's like, okay, cool. I'm vacant house. I'm here by myself. Do you listen to music? Listen to podcasts? Just shoot the house? What do you any vacant house routines that you do?
Sometimes nothing. I shoot it, work in silence. I like quiet. I'm an introvert. And so sometimes I do play some music on, I carry 2 cell phones on me. So my business phone, I don't ever want to have headphones in, because if my business phone rings, I need to answer that call from a client, right? So I don't want to have my earbuds in listening to music on my other phone and not hear that call come in. So I generally don't do that. If I am listening to music, it's through the speaker of the phone. I got the phone in my pocket. And if a call comes in, then I can answer it that way. But yeah.
Yeah, just a preference. I used to do the same thing. If it was vacant and I was in the mood, I would play some music and listen to it. Yeah. The only thing to be aware of, and I don't have a crazy story for this because I haven't shot since IP cameras or in-house cameras, have been available. But just be aware, it's pretty common for people to have cameras in their house.
True. Yep.
So, as a business owner, I don't think you all would ever do anything that would be out of the norm. But just know that you might and probably have someone watching you. Mm-hmm. And if you play music, I don't think there's a problem with that. No one would ever be appalled at that. But just be aware that there's eyes in houses, and it's very common nowadays.
Maybe be mindful of what music you're listening to.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, my Brandon Lake Christian music, they would, I'm sure they would be bobbing their head to. But yeah, if you listen to another genre of music, maybe just keep it PG.
There you go.
All right, I'm done with my just off the wall questions. But listen, if you're still listening to us at this point, thank you to the 7 of you that are.
Right.
Like we all have these problems, right? Like, I don't know.
Any semblance of professionalism we might have taken a little bit of a hit to it, but it's real life, right?
It is. Yeah, it's real life.
Day in the life of a real estate photographer, right?
Exactly. Okay, so sorry. So let me go back and let's see if we can bring some value to everyone other than how to use the bathroom. So you, Craig, what if the house is not ready? This is going to bring value because this is a pain point of everyone. So you mentioned in your day yesterday, you had a house that wasn't. How do you handle this situation? You walk in, you're like, holy crap, they're hoarders or whatever, but the house is not ready.
So it depends on how unready the house is. You're going to, you got to take it case by case. So yesterday, most of the house was ready. They were still picking up a few things on the main floor, but they said second floor is completely ready. So this was a great teaching opportunity for Harmony, my new photographer here in my market. I said, no problem. We'll start upstairs. We'll shoot all the photos and video, up there, give you time to get tied up, whatever you need here on the bottom floor. And the wife said, my husband's out on the back porch, painting the porch back there.
That's never a good sign when there's paint out. Oh,
No. So I'm like, so do you not want the backyard shot?
oh,
And she
good.
said,
Okay,
well,
that's
you can't walk on the deck, but we can clear out for you to take the pictures. I'm like, okay. So you just need to ask some clarifying questions, establish how unready are they.
yeah.
So in that case, I did have to wait a little bit for them to clean up some stuff in the backyard. But I started on the second floor. I just changed my order of my normal shoot to accommodate them so that I could still keep the appointment, number one, because the realtor is going to need those photos depending on when that listing is going active. But number two, putting the sellers at ease. They had some things that they couldn't control come up in life that put off them being ready for that shoot. Now, about a month ago, I had an appointment where there was just a total communication breakdown between the realtor and the sellers, and the entire house was just not ready, and it was not ready to shoot at all. I had a sidebar conversation with the agent. Thankfully, the agent had come, explained what my opinion was. I said, but we'll do what you need. I can't stay extra, but we could shoot it as is if you absolutely have to have this media, or we can reschedule. I said, he said, let me go talk to the sellers and take a look at things. I said, yep, absolutely. He comes back out, his head's hanging down. Craig, I'm so sorry. You're right. That's not ready at all. He said, I'll pay whatever reschedule fee I need to. I mean, I didn't even mention the reschedule fee. He knew that it had put us out of, off of our schedule. Right. And we get it. That's part of the cost of doing business. But I came back, we got the shoot rescheduled, came back, shot it. He was super happy. The sellers were happy. Yeah. It cost me an appointment, but that reschedule fee somewhat made up for it. Just take each instance individually, determine what can you do, what can't you do, and just make a judgment call from there.
Yeah. A small thing, Craig, that I wanted to point out because it took some learning on our end and to craft this message was, if you walk into a house and you realize it's not ready, you should not be the person telling the homeowner that the house is not ready first. Craig said this, and it's very strategic. Are you ready? We ask if they are ready. Just a real quick side story. I had a situation once where I had a very unhappy client call me and about the fact that we had said that the house wasn't ready. The photographer let the homeowners know that the house wasn't ready. Like, hey, I don't think we should shoot it the way it is. Well, basically, long story short, this homeowner was basically a hoarder pre getting the house ready. And this is the agent's word. So from basically being a hoarder to what we considered not ready was worlds different. Like it was 1,000 times better than what it was. They just hauled truckloads out of their house to get it to where it was at. So they're very proud of what they've done. And if you walk in and say, hey, you're not up to snuff, no matter how nice you say it, you could put yourself in a bad situation.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
So please ask them, are you ready? And they'll tell you, like Craig said, in his example, the homeowner said, oh, well, my husband's out back painting. And then he asked more questions. So please, you don't tell them they're ready. Just ask, are you ready? They'll tell you yes or no. If they say yes, great. And then one more thing I want to point out, because this is very important too. At the second example that Craig had, he said he had a sidebar conversation with the realtor. Please, the realtor is your client, but you have to make the client's client, the homeowner, happy. Do not have that conversation with the homeowner. Do not. Please have it with the agent. If the agent's not there, call them. All you have to do in your portal is tap their number. In your photographer portal, they're there. Just tap them and it will, or tap the call button and it'll bring it up in your tile pad and you'll be able to call them. So don't have that conversation with the homeowner. Let the agent decide.
And if for some reason you can't get a hold of the realtor, then you shoot it as is. Just explain, hey, we'll do what we can here. We'll go ahead and shoot it, as it is. I can start in a different area. I would tell me if you agree with this or not, Todd. I would inform in that particular situation, I would let the seller know, hey, I do have another appointment at this time that I need to leave by this time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just to inform you, I will need to get going by this time, but let's get done what we can and take care of you the best we can. Yes, no?
Oh, yeah. And that's very strategic as well. Like, we set expectations of when we need to leave by.
Mm-hmm.
And we say, we'll do everything we can for you until that time. But in order not to be late to my next appointment, this is when I need to leave by.
Right.
And that's been fine-tuned. That message has been fine-tuned over the years as well. So that's just the way that you set expectations. That's the way you can tell them no. That's the way you don't have to tell them no, but you're really telling them no.
Right.
Because it's like, of course, do they want you to stay 2 extra hours and clean their house? Of course they do. But you can't tell them, no, I'm not going to do that. You can say, hey, I'll do everything I can. We'll shoot everything we can right now, but I need to leave by 4:30 so I'm not late to my next appointment. Awesome. So those are some difficult situations that we talked about.
But all part of your workflow.
All part of your workflow. You know, another one we mentioned, what if you can't get in, Craig? You're at the house, no one answers, you can't get in.
Right. Call the realtor or have your office, you know, if you're the owner. We're assuming you're the owner. Yeah, I would call your realtor, explain what the situation is. And actually, I started to have that happen this week. I had a key that I could not get that lock to release and get in. So I was on the phone to the realtor, started explaining, and I'm still jiggling the key. And as I'm explaining that I can't get in, it turned finally. I'm like, Debbie, no worries. Actually, it just turned. And okay. So you just might want to make a note that this lock is a little challenging for other realtors because there's going to be showings at that house. So letting them know of any potential issues that could affect their business and affect their showings, I would let them know.
Yeah, that's great. Speaking of, if you use a lockbox, you put the key in the door, you open it up. What do you do with the key at this point?
I leave it in the door.
Yes.
Again, a one mistake occurrence that never happened again. Don't put that key in your pocket.
Do not. Holy cow.
You're gonna forget. You're gonna hand turn the lock on the door. You're gonna walk out. You're gonna go to your next listing, and there's a showing scheduled after you just shot. And now that next realtor can't get in that house. Oh, you're in trouble.
Yeah. And you're 45 minutes across town at the next shoot.
Right.
So not that we've ever done that. We're just leave that key in the door. It works every time. You take that key out of the door. Well, this could happen too as you put it back in. Just make sure you hold on to that thing, because if you fumble that thing and the front door is a deck and that key
goes through
you
the
drop
slots.
That key, Moore's law says that darn key is going to hit. It's going to bounce completely vertical and it's going to go down a slit that it could barely fit through, and it's going to be at the bottom of that deck. Yeah. So hold on to that sucker when you get out of the door.
Darn Murphy.
Oh, jeez, oh, peace.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are some fun but not fun ones, how we handle them. Things happen. Just communicate to your agent.
Right. Yep.
Okay, so you are all done. Let's see. So we talked about shooting out of order a little bit. So Craig, we have a thing in the system we call office alerts, and where you can leave notes.
Right.
What are some things, examples of notes that you might need to leave or note down about an appointment so that you don't forget it later?
Yeah. So when I check out of the job, it's that our photographer portal through Spiro asks some different questions. Pace, how was it green, yellow, red, traffic light situation. I might note that it was shot out of order, or if there was a room that the seller said, please don't shoot this room, and that the realtor didn't tell you, I would put a note in there so that we can inform the realtor. If say you had drones scheduled and it was raining and you weren't able to complete all of the services scheduled for that appointment, marking it that it was shot partial and then explaining in the notes of why that particular service was not completed. So that, again, you're informing your team back at the office, informing the realtor of the why, taking care of that, rescheduling possibly a service that needs to be done still. So yeah, just anything that's out of the ordinary that might need to be addressed and just a record kept of is when I would add that note to the comments section on the appointment.
Yeah, that's great. That's great advice. If you think you're going to remember it,
No,
you're going to, as soon as you pull away and you're forgetting that. Whatever you thought you were going to remember is out of your memory. You have no clue. And it's the time that you'll get a call 2 weeks later and the agent's like, hey, why didn't you shoot that third bedroom? And you're like, oh crap, why didn't I shoot it?
Yeah.
Well, if you left in your notes when you're in your car completing the job, homeowner said, do not shoot the third bedroom. You simply go back, you check your notes. You're like, oh yeah, the homeowner, Joy said she didn't want the third bedroom shot. And they're like, oh, okay, okay, well, and then it's not your fault anymore. So please just leave it. It's, what I do, and I don't know if you do this, Craig, but I tap that location and I hit talk to text. This is probably showing how old I am, but I literally just talk what my notes are into my phone and it just types it out. And then I hit save and it just saves me from, pecking on my phone.
I probably should do that, but I've gotten pretty fast at pecking on my phone. But my mother-in-law does that. She does talk to text for everything.
Yeah.
Which can be pretty entertaining, actually.
Oh, yeah. Nick Kellis does in the office here, too. It's just, everybody calls me Nick Kellis when I talk to text on the phone in public. And I just.
What's great is when you leave a voicemail like you're doing talk to text. Hey, Amy, so great to hear from you, period. Yeah. Anyway.
Love it.
Yeah.
So, well, Craig, that really takes us through the process. So we kind of just skipped over. We talked a little bit about the completion process. There's 20 years that have gone into that completion process and selecting a few simple answers and leaving notes, and it ties your office together. You can leave editor notes. That's all in there. Mm-hmm. You can see that as a demo on the Spiro website if you want. But that is pretty much, you've completed that job and then pretty much rinse and repeat, right?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's, it makes it easy and what's the word I'm looking for? Easily replicated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You get into a good pattern and it just, the processes make things efficient and predictable. And realtors like consistency. They don't like surprises. They deal with enough surprises in their job as it is. So if we can provide an efficient workflow that serves our clients well, that's going to put their mind at ease, and they know, okay, I can rely on this company to give me a consistent product and service, and you're not giving them a reason to leave you. Mm-hmm. They're going to stick with you. They're going to be more loyal because they know that your system works. So the workflows are important.
Yeah, such a good point. If any good agent has the same workflows for their business, they're very strategic about how they list a house, how they market, how they get a house ready. And if you have a system and you have a process and you can communicate it to them, it just fits into their system. I can't tell you how many realtors over the years have built some of their system around our system because they just know what to expect. They appreciate it. They can count on it every single time. Yeah. And these are relationships. Some of them I've worked with for 20 years that still use us. So it can really be an asset to your business. Craig, just ending here, Craig, hey, listeners out there, do you do something different? Did we miss something today? Do you disagree with it? I'm not saying we have the end all be all, but tell us your bathroom story. I mean, keep it PG in the notes below, or tell us what you do when the house is vacant. Maybe I don't know. We talked about listening to music. Maybe some of you are more productive and you do something else. I don't know what it is, but tell us your stories. This is kind of the fun where we can bring the community together. Yeah. Or if you want to email it to us, hello@spiro.media. Right. Email them to me. We'll read some of them over the next couple of weeks in the podcast. This is how we build community. We all have the same problems and gaps out there. So, hopefully you laughed at me a little bit today and laughed at us. And I always love it when that happens. So
it was nice to have the tables turned a little bit and me not be the one that was getting.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah. Now I'm getting the face tattoo.
There you go. There you go.
So send us your story and we'll laugh at you. We'll laugh with you. Oh,
you're killing us, Todd.
Save me, Craig. I'm done. I'm out of words.
So if you haven't subscribed to this podcast and we haven't,
they're going to do it now,
and we haven't insulted you, please click the like and the subscribe button. any shares are greatly appreciated as well. If you found some value or at least some entertainment in this, at the very least, feel free to share this. If you're part of the Facebook real estate photography groups or whatever. We just any way we can contribute to this community, we'd love to. And just thank you guys for watching, for listening, for sharing comments, asking questions. We appreciate all that. And again, you can email us hello@spiro.media. We do try to respond to the YouTube comments. Usually it's me responding. I don't always get to them right away because I'm out shooting and dealing with customers as well. But we will try and respond to those comments as well. But just appreciate you guys. Make sure, Todd, anything else you have before I
No, I echo that. You said it much better than I.
You're too kind. Anyway, make sure if you have the time, make the time. Not if you have the time. Make the time to be thankful for the blessings in your life, not just your business, but all the blessings in your life. Make sure you take a breath and have a great week. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you for joining us for the Spiro Podcast, Managing Your Real Estate Photography and Videography Business. This is a production of Spiro and Wow Video Tours. You can find out more about Spiro's real estate media business management software at our website, spiro.media.